Literature.
Pages.
Authors.
Reading things. The Book of Dad and Sybil.
Hello, this is Dad.
And this is Sybil.
And welcome to our first episode covering some non-fiction, a genre which I've been waiting to cover. I thought that we might have, when I'd got back into a bit of reading, I'd actually bought a book off a man in a car park instead of paying for my parking, which is called The Foundry Man's Apprentice, which I was really enjoying. And I initially thought would be a great book for this podcast because it was history based, and then it was really grim. So I said no. I really like doing fiction books, and I do like a story, but I am a massive nerd. So we would like to say a big thank you to Sergeant Granville and Granny Granville for filling in for us last week and letting you all know that we were taking a little sabbatical. I've enjoyed reading non-fiction stuff since I wasn't really, when I was a kid, I was very much into stories, and I thought non-fiction was pretty boring. I did like history and stuff, but reading like long-form non-fiction was not really my thing. But I got really into musicology at university, which is the study of music in its historical and cultural context. And since then, I've kind of found it easier to get into non-fiction texts than into fiction texts, and I found that I've read more of those to completion than stories. I'm not sure why that is. Maybe am I more boring now?
I don't know, maybe.
That's a really committal...
I don't know.
Committal stance from Sybil as to whether Dad is boring.
I don't know. We're going to split this into two parts as we are reading it together and chatting through as we go. So this has been a nice approach, and it's been a long time since Dad has read me a story.
Sybil, now, as I said, mentioned this last week. Sybil loves history, and so this is why I sort of thought this book would be right up her street. Sybil, talk to that. Why do you love history?
Because I just find it like fascinating, especially Victorians, which I'm doing at the moment. It's really cool. I just like to see how others get on in the past, and also I like medieval torture.
Fun times for the primary child.
I mean, not me. I mean, not the people who were in that situation, but me.
So we often talk about sort of chat history in the car on the way back from school, or when we're driving around.
I often when you talk like world wars and wars around the world.
Yeah, I'm quite good with my 20th century history. That was what I did most of at A level, was all 20th century. So yeah, I'm a music teacher, but I did teach some history in my time, and I've really enjoyed it. I really, really enjoyed it, actually. It's much quieter to teach than music. That's not the reason I enjoy it. I like geeking out over history. So let's talk a bit about Payback, the book that we've chosen. We mentioned last week that, last episode, that this is a Margaret Atwood text. I've been getting back into Margaret Atwood in a really big way recently.
In a nutshell, this book is about the concept of debt. It is framed in Atwood's own perception of debt and money as she grew up, and then takes a look at the historical ideas of debt, and how this has changed over the centuries into our new modern obsession with debt. Basically, what she's trying to say in this is like in a kid's school life, we do this every day. Like the lunchtime.
Yeah.
You give me your... I don't like an apple, so I'll give you my apple. But I like oranges, so you'll give me an orange, and I'll give you an apple.
Yeah, we barter, and we expect to have things reciprocated. If we were to lend somebody something, we expect something in return, don't we? That's kind of hardwired in.
Yeah, and the school food is sometimes quite nice, like chicken nugget Mondays. Yeah, some like milk slice, chicken nugget, equal. Or sometimes they just give me it. Yeah, and I think that kids should be pushed to read more books like this. I mean, like kids. Kids.
I mean, I think sort of kids from your age onwards can read this and understand this concept, and I think it's. We live in a society in the developed West, and that's big old air quotes on that.
Developed West.
Yeah, that's.
Pew pew. Yeehaw, cowboy.
Yeah, less of the Wild West. Although I mean, the capitalist sort of society is a little bit Wild West.
My playground is a Wild West.
Yeah,
There's fights every day.
There's such a culture around debt and it being used as a kind of way of living outside your means. I think it's probably healthy to get kids a little bit cynical, a little bit earlier about the kind of concepts of big money and banking and debt.
I mean, I read lots. I am like the highest reader in my class. There was words on there like facilitated, delinquent, things like that. Words I can't even remember. It made my head want to explode. That's just a little not for me. Yeah, so we are not going into detail. I mean, I went into detail, and Dad, about everything here, but we're still trying to be more disciplined with our timings. But we have cribbed some... What? But we have cribbed some interesting points that we can discuss before we give our opinions and rate this book.
So at the beginning, Atwood talks about the fact that there could be a genetic reason that we like to go for things like credit cards and bank loans, and that are bad for us in the long run because actually...
it's good for you now, but it's bad for you later.
Yeah, and we're maybe not set up to be forward planning in a massive way, because if we don't fulfill our basic needs like food and water, then we'll soon die. And
I mean, like, if you give me £1 million now, but I have to pay you £2 million in the future, like, I don't have enough food now, so I'll take it and I'll work my way up so I can give you £2 million in the future.
Yeah. It's kind of like, because it's so easy nowadays to get things like loans and credit cards, it's kind of an idea of low-hanging fruit that gives us that quick gratification. Same.
Mango, take it.
So,
Yeah.
Atwood also balances out this idea of need with the greed that comes with wanting more than we actually have. So, yes, there might be some predisposition to snatching things that benefit us in the short term, but there's also like a greed that has come with our kind of development as a species.
Yeah, Margaret, her links back debt is being accepted because of our idea of fairness. I quotes. She mentions a lot of ancient gods that were linked to fairness and justice, like Mahat. How do you say it again?
Mahat, I think.
Mahat in Egyptian mythology. Themis for the Greeks. My nose is blocked right now, so sorry for the nasally voice. Now people have developed into modern religions. Archangel Michael is judging people's souls, and Gabriel recording the souls and keeping heaven's ledger up to date. In Islam, Raqib keeps track of the good deeds and Atid the bad ones. This all links back to our primate roots as social creatures, where fairness, reciprocating fairness, are hardwired into our brains. So basically, if someone does something for you, lends you money, it's only fair you balance the books with that person. I mean, like it's what I said.
Yeah. So Atwood talks about the link between debt and sin. Historically, like if you're a bad person, if you go into debt, and then sort of to link with that, does that also mean that the person who got you into debt is also a bad person. I did some looking about, and if we're talking about debt as being sinful, then 48% of households in the UK currently have some form of debt, which, if you include things like student loans and mortgages, goes up to about 90%. So debt is such a common thing. If you
Do we?
Well, yeah, I mean, we have like part of a mortgage. I've got student loans.
Wait, what? How?
My wife's got student loans because I went to university. So is I mean, debt's such a common thing, and increasingly so as the cost of living raises. But there's still a stigma around living within your means, which basically means if you get into debt, you are automatically irresponsible, even if you might need to be in there.
Yeah. So, fun fact. In
Aramaic.
which is language that Jesus would have spoken, debt and sin are the same word, so it could be interchangeable in translations. Atwood is great at humanising what could otherwise be a pretty dry topic. She tells the story of how debt affected her life from the moment she was born.
So basically, her mum
She was born in like 1930s.
she's born in the 1930s, and her mum and dad were pretty poor at the time. Her mum was from somewhere in Newfoundland, which is quite a
Scotland?
No, it's in Canada.
Oh, I think we were looking at the census, and we looked at a Scottish family.
Ah, okay.
It just stuck in my head.
Fair enough. Yeah, so they were from Newfoundland, so they got the train to Toronto to see Margaret, and for the first time, and
For the first time in forever.
or just for the first time because she's just been born.
In forever.
Okay, yeah. And because they couldn't afford to get out of hospital, they couldn't afford to pay their bills, so Margaret's dad had to go and pawn.
So they couldn't get out of the hospital.
Yeah, but in a private healthcare system, if you can't pay your hospital bill, they're not letting you go.
Wait, is she American?
She's Canadian, so they still have it. I think now they have more of a healthcare system like ours in
Europe's healthcare system's quite good, isn't it? I'll say it's quite good.
Well, I mean, the UK, like, not
The UK.
not a lot of countries have the healthcare system that we have.
It's quite good.
Um,
Like if someone's dying, 999.
yeah, you don't want to think about how you're paying for your care. But anyway, this was the situation in Canada at the time. So
Yeah.
her dad had to. A pawn shop is where you will sell your things.
And you hope that you buy it back.
And you have the idea, yeah, you've got the idea to buy it back. But in order to get Margaret and her mum out of the hospital, and also then he pawned some other things so he could take the two aunts out for a nice meal and send them back with something. So she, in order to get out of the hospital when she was born, like Margaret's family had to kind of immediately go into some form of debt because she was born before her dad's wage had come in. And he was able to, when his wage came in, he was able to buy those things back. I think this makes it sound, the book seem kind of semi-conversational, and I like that about it, because otherwise I think this topic, if you were just going facts,
I wouldn't read it.
could be quite dry and also pretty depressing because
I
it's...
wouldn't read it.
No, that's fair. I think it's fair to say that you've not enjoyed this as much. So let's take a rating on the first part. We talked this week about how we've stepped away from our rating system entirely by accident. It wasn't an intentional thing. So if we had to rate what we've read so far out of 5, what would you say?
2.5.
2.5. Yeah, I think. Well, I mean, I would give this a big 5. I'm really enjoying it. But I know that this has been...
You didn't give some of the grim stories.
This is absolutely better than the grim stories because, like,
No, it isn't.
nobody's eaten chalk or, like, climbed up
That's what
somebody's
makes
hair.
it so good.
Nobody's tried to, like, promised an innkeeper an egg to stay at their
That's
house
what
and
makes
then
it so good.
Yeah, but once again, I think this is the fact that I've become boring in my old age. So we're gonna.
That's the question answered.
That is the question
It
answered.
depends.
And thus the arc of this episode finished with yes, Dad is boring.
Yes.
So we're gonna do this the rest of this next week. We're gonna get through it. We're gonna have some more story time with myself and Sybil. Which she's rolling her eyes at me, but we're going to do it because we've started the book. You were definitely rolling your eyes at me. I saw you.
I was looking at how I'm doing this.
So we will see you next week.
Bye.
Literature.